because I don't know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. Okay, let's go back to this. Ready? One.
Hi, I'm Tameika Devine. I'm a wife, a mom, an entrepreneur, and a city councilwoman.
Hello, I'm Jamie Devine, a husband, a father, and a community champ. I've been married to my wife, Tameika, for over 15 years.
Join us as we interview some of our favorite couples, hear their stories, and be inspired.
The secret to our successful marriage is that we are very intentional about our date nights. Hi, I'm Jamie.
Hi, I'm Tameika.
And
we are the Devines. And welcome to tonight's episode of Date Night with the Devines. Date Night with the Devines is a show that we started about a year and a half ago, really in response to a lot of folks reaching out to us and saying, hey, Jamie and Tameika, we love seeing your posts on social media. We love your marriage, your date nights, and we're so inspired. And so we decided we wanted to have an opportunity to sit down with other couples that inspire us. This is an opportunity for us to share amazing stories of Black love, learn lessons from their marriage and their ups and downs and everything. And so tonight we're really excited to have another couple to interview. I will say, if you are joining us for the first time, thank you so much for tuning in. Please comment and share and let us know how you like the show. And for those of us who are joining us again, thank you so much for continuing to support us and this show. And thank you for continuing to share it. And we hope to see you back next month. So tonight, I think Jamie is going to introduce our amazing guest for tonight.
Yes, and thank you, Tameika. Tonight we have Akintunde and Eunissa Warnock, who have been married for over 24 years. They're the proud parents of 5 children. Akintunde is a 25-year comedian veteran. He is also a screen and television writer with over 350 original television episodes of writing credits, y'all. 350. Ak is known for his Showtime at the Apollo. He has written, his Showtime at the Apollo, the BET Awards, the NAACP Image Awards, and has worked as a head writer and producer for BET Networks. In addition to scores of television appearances, Akintunde has been featured on conferences, events, and tours hosted by international faith leaders, including Bishop T.D. and Lady Sarita Jakes, Pastors Creflo and Taffy Dollar, and Pastor Joel Osteen. He has also done all of this under the management of his business partner and wife, Eunissa. She is the CEO of the Assignment Agency LLC, and that is the assignmentagency.com. If you want to go online and check him out. Also serving as his talent manager and booking agent. Together, Akintunde and Eunissa manage WF Media Group at wfmediagroupinc.com, a multimedia production company, and they recently launched Clap TV, claptv.tv for your online persons. The new house, the new home for urban faith-based television, offering people of color original television series, comedy specials, sitcoms, talk shows, reality TV, and movies that reflect their faith.
So thank you so much. Welcome, guys. Hey. So okay, so we'll have to admit this to the viewing audience. So guys, this is the second time we're sitting down with Ak and Eunissa. My fault. I'm not tech savvy.
I know, right?
So we taped something earlier and I messed up. And so I hate that I did that. But I'm going to tell you that I'm glad I was able to do it just because we have another opportunity to sit down with you guys, because y'all are amazing and we love you guys so much. And we're excited about being able to sit down with you and bring people your story.
Thank y'all. It was no problem. Plus, we know a lot about technical difficulties. Yeah. With all this awesome technology we have sometimes you don't do what you want it to do.
Right.
Okay.
And okay. So we get it. Trust me.
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
So let's just jump in, and Jamie.
We'll just jump in and we'll just start. If you would just kind of, reintroduce yourselves and then tell us how did you all meet and then we kind of go from there. Tell me, I don't know who wants to start first. There's always 3 stories, his side, her side, and then the truth. So
right.
Where y'all start, kind of tell us how you met and then we kind of go from there.
You can tell a story.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, what do y'all got to go?
So we met on River Street in Savannah, Georgia.
Right.
And a friend of mine, John Burke, was in the barbershop. I was a master barber at the time. And he said, you want to go down to Wet Willie's? And Wet Willie's was like the dollar drink spot on Wednesday night, on Tuesday night, or whatever night that was. And I'm probably telling too much on that side. But we were down there and just hanging out. And here comes this tall drink of water. And she and John was actually kind of talking to her first. And then I heard her name and I recognized her name. And I said, hold up. I said, I know you. And we kind of switched. I won't say how I knew her. But I tell you, there's nothing bad.
Nothing bad about me. Just,
yeah.
Kind of little,
little
envy and hateration.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But so we kind of started talking, and then she gave me her phone number, and she gave me her number, but she wouldn't take my call.
Well, this was before cell phones, This
right?
I'm talking about 8 years ago.
Yeah, this was like 1992.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the year after I graduated. This is going into my sophomore year of college.
Right. So this is like when you had like call waiting and stuff, or
all black folks didn't have a call waiting.
Right. But paying no extra for that. The truth of the matter is I didn't really remember him. So, I had some spirits that night.
Yeah.
Right.
And jovial.
Yeah.
So I really didn't remember him, like have a clear, I remember meeting him, but it wasn't like, oh, I want to go out with him type of thing. So he kept calling and was getting my mom because I was at home and I was getting ready actually a week before I was getting ready to go back to school. So he just
2 weeks.
He would have missed me.
Right.
But he called me and it was like, hey, and I did tell you that I didn't remember you.
No,
yes, I did, because you said, hey, I can come up to the NCO so you can see who I am, so you can go out on a date with me.
No. You see how people remember stuff?
This is why I don't talk, because he always says it's not right. I'm like, whatever.
You told me that part, but later on, she just gave me the runaround. She didn't give me any indication. She didn't say like, I don't remember you. She just kind of wouldn't come to the phone. I talked to her mom. I want to say I talked to your brother, Rudy, one time that week. I was kind of like trying to, figure out.
So anyway, I didn't remember, like I said, I didn't remember or really have a good recollection of him. So I was like, hey, my girlfriend's going out. You can come and just show your face, so I can make sure you're not like a crazy person.
That's what she told her girlfriend. She didn't tell me that.
Okay. So he came up there. I think he said he did some what you do in the parking lot?
So in the parking lot, I had like a little 1-2 punch. Jamie, you can identify this. All have a prep regimen that we go through before we go into the club. All right?
That's right.
I pulled up to the NCO club. First of all, I had my Obsession cologne on because back then Obsession was tops. Okay, come on, the cologne game had to be right. Then I had this Never Fail blue silk shirt. And if I wore that blue silk shirt, I always drew some females, right? And then to take it over the top, my brother was in shape back then, because I'm not now. But I dropped down. I did about 100 push-ups in the parking lot.
That's right.
So when I walked into the club, I was like,
you were diesel. That's right.
I had a pump for about 2 hours. After that, it was.
I'll tell y'all a secret. He still does. But yeah, so I saw him. We were going in, and he came up to the door, and I was like, okay, all right, you look harmless. And so, I told him, fine, call me back. And then we went out on our first date. Now, when we went out on our first date, I will say that he actually showed up, which was different for me, because I liked a little thug in my guy back then. I was 19, so And then he showed up with, I'll never forget it. He had on a button-down shirt. He had on suspenders. He had on slacks. He had on Stacey Adams shoes.
Okay, Stacey.
And a bow tie. And that was a little different for me, but I think I was like, okay. And he took me to Bennigan's. I remember that night.
Right.
And we had a good time. I was like, okay, it's a little different. But
and then you forgetting another place.
What?
I took her to, first of all, I didn't have on Stacey Adams. I had on Floor Chimes. Okay. So all right.
They look like Stacey Adams. Them little wingtip shoes.
Right. With a leather sole. Okay. But then after Bennigan's, we went to a jazz club. Okay. Because this is 1992. Remember 1990, Spike Lee put out Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes. So I got hip to the whole jazz club game. So everybody else taking their girls out to nightclubs. No, I'm taking a jazz club. We can sit down and talk.
That's right.
So I was 21. She was 19. She wasn't ready for that. So I think the kind of the 1-2 punch.
I was uncultured or something. Raised by a school teacher. Okay.
She had never been to a jazz club.
I hadn't.
Okay. She was like,
I wasn't really into jazz, but it was good. It was good. You did good, baby. You did good.
And we were together. We were together for the next week or two.
Mm-hmm. Well, not even a full 2 weeks.
Right, like a week.
And then I had to go back to school.
Oh, okay.
So when you went back to school, did y'all stay in touch? Were y'all like dating? Was it kind of like, we're friends? What was that like?
We did. It was interesting because, we weren't, we were young. We were just dating. But he would pop up on a sister. And back in the day, we didn't have like cell phones. So, it would be pre-arranged dates. So, it was a couple times, I was still dating other people, still. And he was too.
Yeah.
And he got caught.
We'll see. The story.
Anyway, so, but it was, it was the regular process of dating. We hang up the phone. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. And we fall asleep on the phone. It was that regular little courting process, but it was, I would say it was fast tracked.
I mean, it was fast track. I mean, we would, I knew like I really was, I was like, I really like her. So, and, I knew it was different from the other, females I dated at that point. So I remember one time, I just got off from work one night and I just drove to Augusta. Now, mind you, I'm still living with my mom at the time. I'm in college. I'm at Savannah State, but I'm living at the house. So I decided I'm going to Augusta. I drove 2 hours in some change to Augusta and just popped up on her but I mean, that's literally, we kind of like started really getting, I wouldn't say we weren't serious, and we were serious in our heart, but we hadn't seriously committed yet.
Right. Yeah. So how did you know that you were meant for each other? How did you know that each of you were for each other? At what point did you say, okay, this is it. This is the one?
So, being completely transparent, our journey was a little bit different than some other people. So we had a very short dating span. I mean, we had entered into a committed relationship. So we decided that we weren't going to date other people. But that January, I was pregnant.
Yeah, by January.
So by January, I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So we actually, I would say we grew up while we were dating. We grew into that. And then, and not every couple that procreates and has a child together should necessarily marry. Right. But we determined that we should, and we wanted to. And it was rough because we hadn't really seen healthy relationships. Right. Like my parents had been married to each other 3 times. And he had his own experience with his parents.
My father left when I was 7.
Right. So
he came back like once or twice and then was gone. And I didn't see him again until I was 33. So,
wow.
So we didn't really have a whole lot of examples of healthy relationships, but all I say is God's grace and mercy. Yeah. He just had a lot of grace for us because he was like, okay, I guess he was looking at us saying, my children, Lord. So he actually, we never had a problem in the passion area, even if we were not getting along,
Right. All right.
Meanwhile, the children kept coming. Hence the 5. So I think for us, the part of the commitment was we both had been in homes where our parents had divorced and separated or whatever. And so we in those tough moments, we were like, okay, at least for me, I can speak for me. I was like, okay, you know, once I got past being really, really like wanting to choke him, I realized, okay, I want my children to grow up in a house with their parents. I didn't have that consistently. And so, you know, I think through all of the growing, because we literally grew up together. We literally grew up together.
That's good. That's good.
I would say for me, I was in lust, you know, in the beginning.
Right.
I definitely was.
You know, once I look at him, you know, he did all them push-ups in the parking lot. So I was like, okay. So I was physically, and God will do that. He'll give you exactly what you need because he knows those rough patches. He knows there's other things you need to keep you going. So whether it be, you know, your love for your kids or whatever, you need to be intensely attracted to your spouse. And that's helpful in those moments. And so for me, it was, you know, I just fell in love with this man along the way. And when I say in love with him, like, you know, I loved him, but that agape love, that love that's sacrificial, that love that's like, okay, like come from my man type love, that I grew into that. And as we grew up. And so
it was rough. It was very rough in the early on.
It was.
Very
and we
rough.
were very young. 19, 21. So, you know, both of us were still in college. So we were figuring out as we went along, but, you know, God's grace and mercy prevailed.
Well, that's good. That is good.
That's good. And I think it's important that you mentioned, like, you didn't have those examples, but you were intentional and conscious about the fact that although we didn't have these examples, we're going to be the example for our kids. Because I think so many people think that, well, I didn't have that example, so that's my excuse to not make it work. But I think that if we're going to break the generational curses, if we're going to do better, then it doesn't matter kind of what you had as an example. You kind of, if you make that conscious decision to say, I'm going to be different, then you can do it.
Right. Even for us, it was like we had different friends or even marriage mentors along the way. We didn't even know that's what they were.
Right.
But we would have these examples of a solid marriage. And then, you know, for whatever reason, when we were young, like just about, you know, her closest friends, except for one, they were married. A lot of my friends were married. So, or in committed relationships. So you had all of us kind of figuring stuff out. But there was a level of commitment. Like, hey, I think what it was, because what you didn't have, you want better. You don't necessarily know what better looks like. You don't necessarily know how to get there, but you just know I don't want to do that. And I think that's for us. A couple times in our marriage, there were turning points. There was one point where we had totally broken up. I was living in a hotel for some weeks. Nobody really knew I was living in a hotel. It was a time where she didn't even know where I was staying at because, and until her cousin happened to be working at the hotel.
Because I got
and her cousin was like, she was like, "What you doing here?" And she thought she had busted me. I'm like, "No, I'm just staying here." She was like, "Tara, know you here?" Her family calls her Tara. She's like, "Tara, know you here?" No, I said, I want to keep it that way. She probably called her, but like went straight to the front desk and called her. So, but I think during that time we hit this patch where we just said, listen, I don't know what we got to do.
Right.
But we gonna work this out, and we're gonna figure it out. And that was kind of the I guess you could say the commitment that we both had. Whether that was because of attraction. I know for me, I did not want to see somebody else raising my children. That was always, even at a young age, I was like, I want to raise my children myself. That was me. And
that's good.
So
that's good. I'm not gonna be alone.
Yeah, I did. And you know what? God said to me, I mean, like I had left and I was like, bumper. It wasn't bumper. I was upset.
Right.
You know, now I know the Holy Spirit that said, do you really want her to be with somebody else? Is somebody else raising your kids? And I was like, oh, I guess I don't. and so I had to slay away all that anger, all that pride. And I remember going back over to the house and I was like, look, you ain't going nowhere and I ain't going nowhere. I don't know.
That's right.
We're gonna figure this out.
Right.
That was it. There was no speech about some great love or passion. That was it.
Right.
We're gonna figure it out.
And I think for me as a wife, what it was that clicked was, this is not going to be perfect. You know, I was that little girl that had the fairy tale, the knight in shining armor.
Right.
I mean, literally, I was just really into Cinderella and all of that. So I had this picture of what, you know, I was told my husband would be like, and was supposed to be like, you know, in movies and all of that. And so I think it clicked for me that he's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You know, I need to pick my battles, you know, because everything is not a breakup, you know, conversation. Everything is not a deal breaker. And this compromise that you have to make. Now that's where the part of us growing up together, because there's a maturity level that's required for you to know that and actually walk in that. And so, and you know, I think you've often said that your relationship kind of goes through shifts every like 10 years.
2 seasons, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, new season. It's good.
Different people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not 19-year-old Eunissa.
Yeah.
He's not
That's right.
21-year-old Akintunde.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have to be able to allow that person to shift and change and grow and not hold it against them. And then, you know, of course, expect the same in return.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's so good. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Well, you know, you two work well together. We see as in your bio, different businesses that you all have and what you do together as a couple and as business partners. How do you keep your business and your personal separated? Tell us a little bit about that. I
don't know that we actually do. I think we have to. I know there are times like, you know, this is a great show called Date Night with the Devines.
All right.
We literally have to say tonight we ain't talking about no business, no kids stuff, because you know either one of those could take us to a point of going off talking about something that's completely separated from her and I, or it can cause us to have to talk about something that we don't agree about.
Right.
And which can ruin a good evening where you had the best of intentions to go out and have a good time, and now you in an argument about, you know, or disagreement with something about, you know, maybe the kids or something about a contract or some this or whatever. So I think I don't necessarily know that we actually always keep it separate,
right?
But you know,
yeah, because part of that is when you're talking to your spouse, you know, when you're having a date night and you're, you know, conversating and it's like, you know, just light, you're talking about things you like and you enjoy. Where for us, you know, we dwell in media. So we're talking about movies, we're talking about the film industry, we're talking about some articles we read, and then that just creeps back over to business because we have to actually catch ourselves and pull ourselves back.
Right.
And so, and for me, because, you know, I'm a mother of 5 and I'm like, that's like like I'm enveloped in that. They call me helicopter mom.
Right.
It's challenging for me to not, you know, mention the kids. And then a lot of times on our date night, we're playing catch up. We're like, because we're running all the time. I'm like, okay, let me, I forgot to tell you, so-and-so happened. He's like, well, when did that conversation happen? I'm like, yeah, well, you know, we missed each other, so I didn't get a chance to tell you, blah, blah, blah. So it's catch up. So we actually just have to just give ourselves some grace in that area and just say, hey, the bulk of what we talk about tonight needs to be not these topics, not business, not kids, but it does creep in there and we just kind of navigate around it and just keep it moving, but it's hard.
And sometimes she'll say something like, she said, listen, she said, I'm not going to tell you this now, but I'll tell you later. Now I'm like, okay, so
you want to know. You want to know.
right.
Tell me.
It's flipping. And so right. So I'm like, okay. I said, is it bad or is it good or is it or how what level? And she's like,
exactly.
Well, she said it's not bad, but it'll get you distracted.
Right.
So
or he'll be talking about something and he'll say, remind me to tell you something later. He'll give me a key word as only Akintunde can.
Right.
To me, and I'll tell you later what I'm like. The keywords. Now I got to remember the keyword. So
I mean, but you remember, just act like tomorrow morning, Macon, Georgia. Okay,
right. My phone, Macon, Georgia.
Because if I don't remember, if we don't, then I'm gonna start talking about. I'm gonna be full. I'm gonna be talking about marketing plans and what we need to do and all that. And then now, before you know it, we're not talking about us. You know.
it's challenging. I mean, because you're together, you work
all the time.
I mean, we work together, we live together, so it's like everything just moves together. But hey,
it is what it is.
Right.
So how did y'all kind of adjust through COVID time? I mean, quarantine. So I mean, you're already always together. Quarantine, I'm sure it was even more. How did y'all make that intentional time for you during COVID when you were kind of stuck in the house?
Staycations, which we were doing that already, because a lot of times, I'm be honest, we've had date nights, and I'm a mother of 5, so I still have children in the house, or young people now.
Yeah.
But I actually enjoy cooking for my family, so I'll have to cook before we go on our date. Okay, and well, so it's not him.
It infuriates me that she cooks for grown people.
I know.
Say what?
It infuriates me that she cooks for grown people. I'm like,
first of all, they're not
all grown, but I'm like, let them jokers. I'm like,
right, but
their own food.
Right.
I know. I got you. I understand. So just real. So how young is the youngest? Is the baby? How young is the baby?
18 next week.
Okay. Oh,
18 next week, and then in the house we got a 25-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 20-year-old, and the 23-year-old is quickly about to transition out. But my point is they sometimes they like, hey, like, what's for dinner? I'm like, no, what's for dinner?
I really like
tell me. She cooking for grown people.
Well, I like for them to eat healthy. We are trying to make a transition to healthy eating, and
it's good.
Our son has some issues with with knee problems, and so and I know that dairy,
sports injuries,
and stuff like that. So I'll do that. I'll work all day. Sometimes not working all day. I mean not cooking, but just working all day.
Right.
And we'll go in the room and he'll like, okay, we're gonna leave at such and such time.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Right. I can always tell what she don't want to go to.
I go in my room and walk around for a little while, and I'm like, I'll sit on the bed. Then he'll come in there and say, you really don't have to go anywhere if you don't want to. I was like, no, we can go.
Right.
So then a lot of times we wind up doing like a staycation. So we've actually had to literally, especially when the kids were a little bit younger, put a sign on the door and tell the kids, do not knock on our bedroom door. Period.
And they still
like, unless somebody's bleeding,
right?
And do not knock on our door.
Yeah.
Which is always a challenge. You always got one that's gonna
always got one
that's gonna test that.
Like it's asking for apple juice is not an emergency.
Okay.
Not right.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But you have, but I think we're for us, it's not just separating business, but it's also like I said, family issue that, because once you get teenagers, when you begin to have teenagers and people in their 20s, you guys can really have some divisions about how you see things, what's right, what's wrong. And it's not as simple because you got a bunch of people who don't have to do what you tell them to do. Okay, so that's a whole other issue. And for us, when we got to COVID popped in. Ironically, I had heard God tell me a year and a half ago to stop thinking like a comedian so much and begin to think like a producer. So I was like, okay, and I was like, okay. But it still didn't click immediately. I'm still like, okay, I'm still touring. I'm still looking for more opportunities. And then spring was coming up for us, was one of the biggest touring seasons that I'd had in probably 3 years.
Right? Jigs tour. We had the Stella Awards coming up.
Right.
We had
the Healthy Laughter had our biggest.
Oh yeah.
To ever and to date, and then just like that within
like a week.
Like
everybody started like canceling and postponing. We're like, oh my gosh,
and it was there was 2 big ones. I was like, please God, please. I'm like, I really need them too. If I can get them 2 right there before this thing shut down. And then just before that, it was like, like bam, like a huge amount of money was just like gone.
Right.
So for us, but this is by the grace of God. Because he had told us to start thinking like a producer. We had already been developing Clap TV. So Clap TV was already coming up and cute. And what being the downtime helped us to really focus on Clap TV like we could have never happened before. And then because we were focused on producing, we got brought in by Denny's to produce a digital graduation event.
Right.
And so we were like, okay, and then we were like, wait a minute, like this is a whole new stream of income for us. So we were sitting back like, God, okay, you're really showing us what we need to do. So I think the whole process for us as a marriage with COVID has probably brought us to I would say a higher level of even trust.
Right. I was, I think I mentally clocked out at one point. Honestly, I literally was just like, okay, God, whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna do. I just cannot. And I know for him, as the head of our household, that week of all those cancellations, he just came to the office and kind of sat for a few days. I was like, it's okay. I'm gonna leave for a few days.
Right.
Let him just kind of, but I literally just, and when I say clocked out, I mean, I typically would be in fix-it mode. Right. Because like the national fixer, I'm like the living of my house. And so I'd be like, okay, it's going to be all right. And trying to overcompensate for whatever's going on externally. But I literally was just like, okay, God, you got him.
It's nothing to fix.
Right. It's like,
right.
What can we do? I mean, as you all know, there was no precedent for what was happening.
Right.
Yeah. You just had to trust that he had done everything and put what you needed in place. And he really did. So tell us about Clap TV. I mean, I want to make sure I'm going to put it up here so that everybody, and we have downloaded it, so we've got it. But tell us about Clap TV.
Clap TV, urban faith television network, and it's currently in 35 million households via Roku.
Wow.
And we're available online at the website, and we're also it will be hopefully by next month we'll be available on Amazon Fire TV and Apple TV, which will take us into a total of almost 80 million homes. So what it is it's television shows, it's film, it's reality TV, it's comedy specials, it's talk shows, and right now we're seeing the probably. I think I can honestly say it's probably the fastest profitable business that we've ever launched. I think Clap TV became immediately profitable, which is really unheard of for when you're launching a new business, as well as it really has become we're seeing traction. Literally every week, it's a lot of work. The reason why we're here today, as opposed to being at home like we normally would have been for you guys' show, is because it's kind of like it's so much to do. And but we're in a great building place, and we're building out the technical side. We're still building out the platform itself, and we're still producing content. Right, we're still doing licensing agreements for movies and what have you, as well as producing a lot of content. So, but it's a place for a couple like you guys. Here's the thing: you guys do not watch the same TV that somebody who's 18 years old would watch. There's and guess what? Probably somebody who's not a Christian either. So there's a level of faith and as well as family and principles that you guys live by that unfortunately are not reflected in television today. Right. So just think about the show Date Night with the Devines, right? About 5, maybe 6 years ago, we pitched a reality show to a Black network that was just launched. I'm not going to say the name. This is a major network. And they told us, they said, they stopped us. They came to the end of the meeting. They said, you know what? We had a long meeting. And what they said was, they said, you know what? They said, we like you guys. But the problem is, you guys like each other. It literally said, he said, if you didn't like each other, we'd have a show.
Wow.
And we were like,
wow.
Okay, she said, yeah. She said, you said you guys aren't real to a lot of people. They're not going to believe that you actually love each other. Okay, she said, if you ever, she didn't. I mean, I'm slightly paraphrasing the end of what she said, but the rapper, was, if you ever get on the road to divorce, we got you.
Call us.
And I went, wow. Okay, and then unfortunately, a Caucasian network ran by a the largest distributor in the country. They gave us a deal. And we almost had a show.
A year of my life.
Yes, a year of my life developing that show
around our family.
But again, the culture says that what you guys have and what we're all striving towards is not real.
Mm.
So there has to be a television home, a television platform for a Eunissa and Akintunde show, or a Jamie and Tameika show, or Herbert and Marsha show, or all these different people who we know are having successful marriages that I've seen on television, which tells young people, our children, that that's not real and I can't have that.
Right.
Mm.
You are so right. I mean, like, literally, we don't, other than the news, which is depressing in and of itself, but we really don't watch TV. And, you know, on Saturday mornings when we finally do get to actually stay home, I watch Touched by an Angel because I love that show. And I tweeted one day, I was like, you know, they were doing all these reboots of all these old shows. And I'm like, I would love to see a Touched by an Angel come back. I mean, I know we don't have Della Reese anymore, but I mean, just something that where people can talk about their faith and God, and, you know, and I know that in this world, there's such a need for that. But you're right that the folks who want to make money don't feel like that's profitable or that's something that they can. So that's why I'm super excited about Clap TV, because there's such a need for that. And there's so many folks who are folks of faith and people who may not currently be, you know, that far along in their faith journey, but need to see it so that they can understand that that is a way of life. And so I'm excited. So I know we've downloaded it, but tell everybody, how can they subscribe and see the content that y'all are producing over there?
Well, the network is there. There's no subscription fee. You can go into your Roku app and just search Clap TV, and then you add it. It'll become one of your favorite channels. And then there's on-demand content. There's a live feed, and then we are producing original programming as well. So, you know, you can go on, you can literally, it's just like a Netflix experience in that, you know, you can watch what you want to watch on demand. We're still, when you go, we decided to go ahead and launch. We were like, let's get, I'm kind of a perfectionist. So I was like, this has to be right. That has to be right. And then God kind of freed me up. He said, launch the network and take the audience on the journey with you. So, when you reboot or get a new interface, it's like, hey, they'll be able to see the whole process of how we actually built this through God's grace, and be able to see that, yes, everything doesn't start off perfect. Right. So kind of from an entrepreneurial standpoint, you kind of have to snap out of that, because you can get stuck in thinking that if this has to be this way unless I'm not going to launch, and then you never get anything done.
Right.
Wow. Well, before we get to our last question, I did want to talk about, so Clap TV is a huge project, but that's just one of the projects that y'all are working on. Tell us, what else are y'all doing? I know y'all got a big event coming up later on this week. So I want to make sure that everybody hears about that. Now, of course, those of you who are watching the replay, you might miss it, but if you're watching this live, then you will be able to know about the next big event y'all have coming up. So Eunissa, tell us about Pro Media Day.
Right. So is a concept that Akintunde came up with, basically to assist small business owners and entrepreneurs and independent artists with their media products. So the elements that you would need, you know, typically everybody would need, is headshots. You always need a great, strong headshot, video promo that speaks to your story, your product, you know, what you're trying to communicate and who you're trying to connect with, and then also logo. Logo is a part of your branding, is a part of you know, how people identify. It's like the McDonald's arches is how people identify when they see that, how they identify with you and your brand and your product, and the quality of your product. And so we take all those elements, the headshots, the video promo, and the logo design, and you can get all those elements in one day. For a very, very reasonable price. Right. And the goal, you know, the reason why we discounted it so, because, you know, all those elements together could cost, you know, what we're charging, what we're asking for the each individual thing could cost what we're asking for, the total package, but we want it to be accessible.
Right.
We wanted it to be, something, obviously COVID friendly, but also we also wanted it to be a blessing to people, because these are the things that, we've, over the years had to do ourselves, because sometimes we didn't have access to them for whatever reason. And so that's our goal. To make it accessible, but to give our clients quality and to get it turned around so that they can utilize it and be ready to go. A lot of businesses are being launched right now.
Right.
So many people who had their side hustle are now converting it to their main hustle, because they're like, I'll never be in this situation again. And so we recognize that. We feel you. We understand that.
Right.
And so Pro Media Day is our answer.
Yeah.
That's cool. So that is coming up on October 3rd.
October 3rd. This is our second one. The first one went very well. In September, August.
Yeah, September. Was that September? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, that was fine.
August
25th.
The months are wrapping around really quick.
Yeah.
And so this one is October 3rd. We still have some slots available. So you can call us at our 1-800 number, 1-800-280-0094, or you can also go to wfmediagroupinc.com.
Right. And today, I just want to make one little note. Everything today is about story. And people really have to understand that in terms of marketing. And you have to, I told one young lady, we were talking about all this different stuff. And then she started talking about the fact that she had a baby early on. And I was like, sis, I said, you may not realize it, but that's your story.
Right.
Somebody's gonna buy your product because they were a single young mother like you.
And they can identify.
And they're gonna connect with you. But if you don't tell anybody that, then you're just like every other entrepreneur in your category. But that one fact, the fact that you're still doing it makes you stand out. But you have to understand and allow someone who knows how to do that to capture that story, and you can then share that with the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. And then, you have a podcast as well.
Yes. So the Akintunde show, we launched that about 6 weeks ago, and has been nothing but every week a wonderful learning experience and a wonderful success. We've just been growing, and so we air on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:00 p.m. On Clap TV, as well as on the playback is on Clap TV. Right now, the Facebook Live is the first rollout, and then it plays back on demand on Clap TV. So and it's been a wonderful experience. Just even you guys have popped in before. Tameika, you pop into the timeline, and it's just been wonderful interacting with the audience. It's like my old radio show I used to have in Washington D.C. Except where I'm talking to people, but the only difference is I can see and I can kind of in a much more organic way directly interact. And we talk about real topics, real stuff. So, and we have fun too. So I'm just excited. And the most beautiful thing is, just like what you guys are doing right here on this awesome platform, you guys, there's nobody that can tell us no anymore as it pertains to media. If you really want to put it out, you can do it. Before to be on, look, it's right now, somebody's watching this, and literally you're on a platform that has 30 billion people on it. So
it is.
So you just think about, for that to have happened 10, 15 years ago, you had to have a production company, a network, and a distribution deal with solid marketing just to reach the people that's watching right now. The game has totally changed.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that. Well, that's what we're just so excited about, the way God has blessed you guys. You have an amazing story, and you're really showing people that you can be a couple and you can work to support each other and build a legacy for your family together. And even COVID couldn't stop you guys. So we're excited about you guys, and we want people to make sure that you check out wfmediagroup.com. Definitely Pro Day this week. Download Clap TV. Do it now. Not right now. When the show is over,
that's right.
Go download Clap TV and make sure that you support them, and then watch the Akintunde show on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Facebook and on Clap TV.
And
So,
if I can just WF Media, because we had to add that.
All right, I gotta add that. Let me make sure I add that, because I want to make sure we get that right. Go ahead.
It's another thing you say when you go to Facebook or if you Google us, make sure you put Clap TV Network and you check out Clap TV as a hashtag
on Facebook,
because there's another Clap TV.
There's another Clap,
and they not clapping hands.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know why there's the search clap.
I'm glad we found the right one when I went to go download.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're faith family.
We're faith family. And love God and
right.
So what is it again? Now you said tell us again to be clear.
Clap TV Television Network.
Right. And
Clap
on
TV Television Network.
Right. Okay. And on Facebook it's check out Clap TV.
Yeah, check out Clap TV. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, check out Clap TV on Facebook. Okay, cool.
Okay, very good. That is clarity and communication makes a big difference.
Yes, sir.
And we want to make sure that we get the right word out to our people. So again, thank you guys for being with us. But just before we leave, I like to ask the famous last question. What would you say to a younger Eunissa, younger Akintunde regarding marriage and where you are now? What would you say? You gave us a little bit in the beginning, but just kind of close us out. What kind of advice, words of encouragement would you say to a younger you, knowing what you know now, going back to what you kind of been through?
You want to go first? I would say a lot. I would definitely say slow down. I think that was we probably should have gotten married 5 years later. Okay, probably should have had kids about another 3 after that. So we probably there's several purchases. I can think of at least two houses I should have brought a little bit slower. I could think of some business decisions, a few people I hired a little too fast. So the whole thing would have been slow down, man. It's all good. Enjoy the process.
Right.
Yourself, enjoy your wife and your children. And because even though I believe we have great children and they're growing into their own success, I think you can never have too much time. And you just with your children. And I wish that me personally, I wish I would have been. I was vision focused. I was thinking down the road. Sometimes when you're looking down the road, you're not looking at what you have right here.
What's in front of you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I guess just to tag on to what he said, kudos, ditto to that. And I would just say that once you're in it, because of course, when you're in it, you can't necessarily go back and undo what you've done. But once you're in it, then the goal, the key should be not to throw away the work that you've done. Despise what's happened. Everything that's happened in your relationship has been for a reason. And even if it was things that were not so great, God has the ability to help you grow through it if you allow him.
Right.
If you allow him, and it can make your marriage, can make you and your marriage better. And then, don't give up. There's plenty of opportunities and times that we could have just thrown in a towel. Times I was like, I'm going back to my mama's house. And she took me back, come on, baby. But but I'm so glad that we did stick it in there.
Right. I would just say to anybody out there who's watching this, if you're in a part of your relationship where you feel like, hey, I'm about to quit, or I don't know what's going to happen, I'll say this to you: if you hang in there, as opposed to if you quit, the things that happen in your marriage, they're failures. If you continue on and you fight through it, the things that happen in your marriage are testimonies.
Right.
And because those are things that God brought you through. But if you stop and you just walk away, then all of that is wreckage. Is stuff that happened along the way before we finally crashed and burned. But if you continue to fight through it, go through all the issues, whatever that issue was, whatever those problems are, and work and really build a great marriage, then somebody else who's going through can look at you and say, man, wow, we can make it too. Maybe their situation may not be as rough as yours, or maybe it may be tougher. But all that testimony really can help not just somebody else's marriage, but help yours too.
Right.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
That's excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experiences, and God's continued blessings upon you and your businesses. And we hope that that we are just, well, not hope. I'm excited that we're here for the journey with you. Like you mentioned, take the audience on the journey. And so this is exciting to see everything that God is doing with and through you. And we just are blessed to know you too. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for what y'all doing. Thank y'all for the marriages, the families that y'all are blessing. The extensions of these blessings will go hundreds of years into the future. There's families of people who are not even born yet that'll be blessed with date night with the Devines. Right. So thank y'all for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for those of you watching us, thank you again for checking us out. We're here every third Monday at 9 p.m. And then you can always watch the replay on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. So until next time, I'm Tameika.
And I'm Jamie.
And we are the Devines.